Here's another drill. Look, sir, droid. Stop that ship! Blast them! Move along. Move along.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Contingency Plan Podcast. My name is Jedi Master David, and with me, as always, is Darth Austin.
I hate all of you.
That's super dark. That's
Darth, not
This
dark.
is a very dark podcast. However, this is a podcast you won't want to miss. This is an all Stormtrooper podcast. So don't miss it because,
We will.
we will. There you go.
So, we really got to up our training game with them. They're not getting it, man.
Up the training.
I feel like maybe they need trainer rifles, beginner rifles.
You just training. That's all you have to say to that one.
Training.
Train.
Training.
Train.
Yes.
Get out of here. All right. We're a Star
From
Wars
birth.
We are a Star Wars Read podcast. Going through the new Jedi Order series of books, we are currently still in Vector Prime, going to hit Chapter 8, titled Layers.
5 years later, still in Vector Prime, guys.
Yeah, it's going to take a while. 25 total chapters in this, going chapter by chapter.
We're almost halfway. We're getting there.
Yeah, almost there. So how's it going this week?
Not too bad. Been a very slow week at work, changing hands. So my current boss just doesn't really care what we do.
Well, that's
A lot of
good.
standing around waiting for stuff to come in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but then when you get your new boss, then, that should be fun.
Yeah, you gotta just act like you're busy the minute he comes in for the first time.
We've been working this whole time for you.
Now pay us
Yeah.
out of your pocket.
Give
this
us the
time.
money. Oh, well, that's good. That's good. I have not had such a great week. I went to a Swappers Day, which is basically a giant hillbilly festival complete with coon dog runs and Amish people selling bulk candies and
Furniture they bought from a garage sale.
no, there wasn't so much of that. I mean, it's mainly tools and firearms and craft stuff and just random junk as well. I actually bought a couple rations for my other channel there, $5 a piece.
Oh,
They
the
were the-
brand you usually get?
Well, they were a civilian brand, XMRE.
okay. Cool.
$5. That was a heck.
That's pretty cheap.
There was another one there, and I probably should have just bought that as well. But I was like, oh, I'll just buy these two like a dummy. I should have actually just seen what he was going to have on a whole case. Probably would have
Just buy the whole lot. Yeah. By the
Yeah.
way, shameless plug.
Yeah, shameless plug. I do have another channel on YouTube called Dave's 45 Auto. If you're interested in like camping stuff and ration reviews or anything like that, you can check that channel out and watch me eat ration food and give you a little ASMR, that sort of stuff.
I won't comment on that.
Also, excuse me, I'm going to probably cough a few times and or sniff a few times. That was the other part. So after Swappers Day, I come home, I get an hour workout in. Yeah, I'm buff. Buff with the gut. No, but I actually had a little workout, feeling good, made dinner, made some homemade chicken and noodle with some mushrooms and broccoli in it, and I was having a good old time, and I started getting a sore throat. And so I was like, oh, I don't know about this. Because normally I can tell. So I was like, I grabbed the emergency, the little like Alka-Seltzer like tablets.
Get the echinacea. Get the echinacea.
I didn't have any. I have some in there, but it's so old that I don't really know how long.
They don't last long, actually.
So I just recently got back into like the flaxseed oil and then this other weird coconut oil. Yeah, yes, guys. Sometimes we have a little holistic medicine here on the podcast. But
I need to get back into flax because I've been doing nothing but eating this entire week.
And I'm not. We're not here to give health tips. We are by no means dietitians and or doctors and or have any sort of real, knowledge or degrees in any of that. But I will say flaxseed oil does some amazing things for weight. And I'm going to keep it at that.
It just basically makes you full all the time. It makes no sense.
It does, for some reason, for us, it does seem to curb the appetite. Well, actually, it curbs your appetite. It actually kind of makes me hungry, but
for good food.
But it burns.
Oh, okay.
I seem to burn more, and I just put it in my protein shakes in the morning and so forth, along with this weird coconut oil stuff that I bought from like that bullet. So basically, I've been doing this hybrid bulletproof coffee. Have you heard of this stuff?
Yeah, I've wanted to try that. It's the one with basically it's got
butter.
It's got butter and fat in it.
It's butter and this this sort of like. It's derived from like coconut oil, but it's like it's processed down. I don't do that exactly. I bought the coffee, I bought the oil. I'll take the coffee, I'll brew coffee. I'll put it in a mason jar in the fridge, make it cold. I'll put coffee, protein powder, my chocolate phase 8 protein powder. You got to mix all this stuff up if you're putting oil. So I'll put it in a blender. I'll put, a tablespoon of flax, a tablespoon of the whatever crazy oil that probably doesn't do anything. I'll mix that up real good to emulsify it so the oils don't separate, and then I'll put that in my blender bottle and then put water in it to fill it to the top. And that's what I've been taking every morning, and it's kind of like a meal replacement. I'm not good at eating breakfast.
I'm terrible at it.
I
don't
like
want to take the
breakfast
time.
food, but I like to eat
it
it
at dinner.
I like to eat it later in the day. So, excuse me. And so that's kind of what I've been doing because unfortunately I have put on a few pounds.
Yeah, same here. Hardee's 3 times in 1 week will do that to you.
Oh God. Well,
so how is the bulletproof coffee? Because I've thought about trying it.
Okay, so let me put it to you this way. I don't want to like give an opinion that's based on just my experience. I've heard people that have had great success with it. But for me, the coffee is fine. Like the coffee itself
doesn't taste terrible.
No,
you don't taste the butter.
No, it's like just the coffee. So the coffee, if you were just brew up a cup of coffee using the coffee, it's not bad. It's a medium roast. It's pretty good. They have this whole claim that they get out because in coffee beans, you can have some toxins in there. Mm-hmm. However, most, if not all, major coffee brands have already figured out, and for a long time have figured out how to get rid of those.
Right.
So really clean coffee, you can get that pretty much everywhere. So I'm not necessarily saying that's wrong. I'm glad that they're a clean coffee. That's important, but
and it's fully organic too.
Yeah,
correct. Yeah.
Correct. But yeah, I mean, like claiming, and I'm not saying they claim they're the only one, but like thinking that they're the only one is wrong because there are plenty of others that do the same thing. But the coffee itself is good. I did try the actual bulletproof coffee, recipe. So you take the coffee, you take. It's like, I don't know. I don't remember it off the top of my head. It's like a tablespoon of butter and like a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of the oil. And then you blend it. So you have to blend it because, for the emulsification.
Right.
And it gets frothy. And I got to tell you, it's actually pretty tasty.
I was going to say, I would think that it would taste a little weird.
No, really, it actually tastes pretty good. It's just like it's a really creamy coffee. You got to think about it though. A lot of people add dairy to their coffee.
True.
Already.
I usually go black with mine, so it'd be a little change of pace for me. But
and if it's good coffee, so do I. If it's not so good coffee, I tend to doctor it up a little bit. But I don't drink a lot of coffee. I usually just make my own iced coffee, put a little vanilla in it, and away I go. But anyway.
But it is a breakfast replacer for you. I mean, you don't really feel hungry for, let's say, till like 11 or 12.
Okay, no. See, that's the thing that I found. I don't find that a cup of bulletproof coffee supplements a meal.
Okay.
I don't think that, for me, it doesn't do that. Now, I know some people that feel differently, but I did read some articles on it, and we're a Star Wars podcast. We're talking about coffee.
And MRE.
Yeah, we've gone off on a tangent, but anyway, I don't want to dominate it here, but it didn't replace a meal for me. But anyway, I use the ingredients in another way. So that's kind of the gist of that.
I might have to try that. That sounds pretty interesting. And I've been looking for something to replace cereal for breakfast. I'm too lazy to make a healthy breakfast, so I just have cereal.
Yeah, see, I just don't. We don't have our blue milk. We don't have bantha milk here, or the green milk.
Yeah.
So we have
and
to.
That's
make
as fresh as it can possibly be.
Right, straight from the teat.
Do you think Mace and Coyote Mundi and Yoda had these kind of conversations in their Jedi Council meetings?
You know what?
I'd like to
I
believe
think they did.
They talked about bulletproof coffee.
You know, I feel like when they were in the council chambers and nobody was in there, they're just like, "So Mace, have you tried this new coffee that they've been getting in the outer room? It's pretty good."
On dangerous missions, I like bulletproof coffee and MXRE or XMREs.
Oh, gosh. So yeah, that's but yeah, no, so to continue the story, did I even say that I was sick yet?
Slightly. You kind of got there.
I kind of
it was
lost my train of thought.
that you're sick.
Well, anyway, I came back after my workout. I made dinner. Okay, I remember that, and I got my scratchy throat, and I took my emergency, and then I took some NyQuil at night to kind of lubricate the throat. I woke up and I was oh great, this doesn't feel great. I went to work, and then about noon I was like, and my boss was also sick, and she was like, because she looked at me, and he's like, you don't look too good. I was like, right back at you, boss. She's like, if you want to go home, just don't worry about it. Just go home. And she's like, I'm probably going home too. So I did. I wound up going home. I went to sleep. Next day, I actually wound up calling off the following day because I got up.
Sleep didn't help.
No, I mean, I got up. You know, I'm normally up 4:30, 4:45 a.m. in the morning to get to work by 6. I got up and I was trying. Like I was getting up and I walked out the kitchen. I was like, I walked around. I was deciding, you know, that inner monologue. It's like, do I want to? Should I?
And at that point, you're not going to go to work. If you have to have that inner monologue,
no,
you're not going to work.
And I didn't. I didn't wind up going to work. I sent an email to my team and, you know, the other people in the department. I'm not coming. See it. But yeah, I came in the next day and I was like, I felt a little better, but they were all like, you don't sound any better. It's like, fine, I'll go back home. No, but I wound up working out the rest of the week, and yeah, I'm fine now, but I'm still kind of just out of it. Well, I've been out all morning too. Went to a show a little earlier, and then had to go to a Myers and get ingredients for your mother.
Gotta get that malt vinegar, man.
Oh gosh. Well, it's funny that the town that you guys live in here, the stores don't carry certain things.
Really? No,
well,
I mean,
Heinz malt vinegar. I don't know how many of you like vinegar, but you know, I've always been someone who likes malt vinegar on fries or potatoes or whatever. But Heinz malt vinegar has always been my favorite. But there are a lot of places that don't sell Heinz malt vinegar, but Myers does, at least around me. And I don't even know where you guys are listening to this to. You guys are probably like, Myers? What's a Myers? Is that nationwide?
No, I don't. I think that's...
Is that regional?
That's regional, yeah.
Because I know some people... I mean, Kroger's has gotten
Kroger's
out
obviously
a lot.
Not,
but, well, I mean, there was a time when Kroger's wasn't either. Like, there were a lot of people out west who were like, what's a Kroger's? It's like... Because I used to work in a fraud department for a bank, and you know you get people's card stuff, and you're going over information with them, and they're listing off all these grocery stores. It's like a grocery store, you know, like Kroger. What's a Kroger? Excuse me.
It's Kroger's, by the way, not Kroger.
I call it Kroger, and I don't care.
I call it Kroger too.
It's like Cracker Jacks.
That's also like Aldi's. No, I call it Aldi.
Well, Cracker Jack. It's actually Cracker Jack, but everybody calls it Cracker Jacks, like plural.
You want more than one.
But the whole thing is on the box, it's strictly Cracker Jack. And I listened to this podcast. I don't even know why, because to be honest with you, I don't even really like it anymore. So I'm not going to mention it because I don't want to dog anybody, but I just don't like it. But it's a larger podcast. And the guy was talking about Cracker Jacks. And He just threw the entire. It's Cracker Jack. It's Cracker Jack. Everybody, stop calling it Cracker Jacks. I'm going to call it Cracker Jacks because I don't care. Oh, the Sith have infiltrated this podcast. We don't care about the rest of the galaxy now.
I'm turning him to the dark side, everyone.
Yeah,
I'm just apprentice.
I'm
Finally,
just
my apprentice. Oh, crap.
I'm just
now he's going to kill me.
I'm just a Jedi who
Damn it.
who just doesn't care anymore. He's going rogue.
Would you say you're a
No. Anyway, let's continue on here. Let's go ahead and jump out and jump back into the HoloNet. And I think that you found us a story today here to talk about on the internet.
Well, everyone wants to talk about that scene from Solo, but I'm sorry, it's not really news to me because I watched it in theaters. So we have a little leak about, some old characters.
A quote leak.
Yeah. Don't you love it when it says leak?
I hate when people say leak because half the time it's not actually true.
Yeah. Or they actually, announced it on purpose.
Ooh, correct. Yeah.
But they want to act like
It's
they
exclusive.
My sources.
My sources tell me.
That's a sad-looking Pikachu right there.
Yeah.
What is?
I don't know. Just somebody.
Oh no, we're not gonna even.
I'm internet
describe
surfing.
that Pikachu there.
All right, go for it.
Okay, so Star Wars 9 leak. Anakin and Vader Force Ghost appears in this scene, but to who? So basically, sets up the scene a little bit. Kylo Ren has one of his little emo moments where he can't decide if he wants to be a Jedi or a Sith. He's conflicted. Killing Han didn't help with that like he thought it would. So
Killing your father wouldn't help?
No, apparently not, man. I know it's weird. It's weird. It's weird. But so basically, they're setting up the scene where he's going to be kneeling, probably meditating, I would assume, and Vader and Anakin are going to come to him as Force Ghosts, and it's
Vader and Anakin?
Yeah, which I don't get.
So they said two ghosts?
Yeah.
So
Well,
old and new? Or?
It's weird because they're acting like it really doesn't sound like a Force Ghost because it's going to be showing different scenes of both their lives.
So cutscenes?
Pretty much, but they're
Flashback?
calling them Force Ghosts. Yeah, which, Vader really couldn't be a Force Ghost, and that'd be a bit redundant when you think about it.
Well, he was.
No.
He was.
No, Hayden Christensen.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who was the other one?
Yeah, I don't remember the actor's name, but he was. I mean, come on. He is Vader. So he's going to come back in full Vader garb?
Yeah, you're gonna have literally Darth Vader in his suit and Annie,
Kylo.
Yeah. And it doesn't even really say if they're talking to him. It's just like seeing visions of the past. But they're not going to use footage from the old movies. So I don't know.
They're
it's
not going to
weird.
use footage from the old movies?
No, it's going to be new scenes. And so they're still trying to decide if they're going to have Hayden reprise his role. But they do have a voice actor for Vader.
Do you want the movie boycotted? Because that's how you get... Listen,
Yeah.
I think Hayden actually had a lot of hate thrown his way, but to be honest with you, with the exception of episode 2, which I'm sorry, even Natalie Portman, who is a great actress, even though she's kind of cuckoo sometimes in real life, was terrible in that movie. And I don't
The
care.
writing was garbage in that
I don't care what
movie.
people say. She was terrible in that movie.
Yeah.
The only one who really acted any sort of, in any capacity like you would call good was Ewan McGregor. But Ewan McGregor's a freaking professional. But honestly, I think Samuel L. Jackson is just Samuel L. Jackson.
They
He's
just
the same
didn't mess up
guy.
his, he didn't have a ton of dialogue in that movie,
That's
really.
true. But I mean, I think the problem with Natalie was that with her scenes with Hayden, they were just so awkward with each other.
Yeah, and they were the worst scenes in the movie by far.
So I just felt she was a little over the top. But in episode 3, I felt that it was a lot better. But again, this is This is the risk you run when you get, somewhat unknown or unexperienced actors in a big kind of role, especially when you're trying to portray super serious moments. Because, okay, I'm going to roll this into another conversation here because I thought this was interesting. And I think this came up when I was talking to my buddies over at Rebel Watch. You can check them out. They actually finally uploaded a new episode. They took a little hiatus, taking care of other things. One of them was moving and so on and so forth. But anyway, I remember talking with them a long time ago, and there was somebody else, but talking as well. But anyway, people wanted like serious, like. The little Poe and Hux sort of thing at the beginning of The Last Jedi, little jokes. They're like, no, it's got to be serious. It's like, did you watch the originals? Because there's a lot of goofy little kind of humor. It's a kid's movie. It's supposed to be geared towards kids. But everybody wants it so serious. And honestly, I think like episode 1 had a lot of that joviality and it was fine. But then we got super, super serious. And it had to be. It had to be because you're literally turning supposedly the chosen one, which it's debatable if that's true, or at very best, it's murky because we've continued the story and the Force. Okay, that's another. That's
the
another
way they could have done that. The only way they could have done that is just end with that story of okay, everything's balanced.
Well,
don't think about the future.
Well, but that I could talk about that a long time about what balance truly means, and it doesn't mean the number of Sith and Jedi. In my opinion, it doesn't mean like how many. Well, but Vader killed like all the Jedi, and so there were only like 2 Jedi and then 2 Sith, so it's balanced. I've never believed it had anything to do with the number of actual Jedi or Sith. I think that's irrelevant. It has to do with more of the communion with the Force and allowing the Force to be its own entity and working through you instead of trying to bend it to your own will. That's not balance. That's not live. You personally, on a personal one-on-one level, have to learn how to balance. Balancing the universe is impossible because the Force is doing its own thing.
Yeah, I think
and you just have to let it flow. That's
right.
Balance.
Yeah,
to me.
which
Could be wrong.
I'm
not, though.
The way I interpret it is very similar. I mean, Vader, old Annie ends up killing Palpatine. Obviously, spoilers.
Spoilers.
There's
30, 40-year-old spoiler?
Right. There's only, at this point, Luke, and Luke is definitely a little more in tune with the Force than Jedi of the past, and he's willing to let it guide him more than a lot of the Jedi of the past.
Uh-huh.
So, in a way, he did bring balance through Luke. He cleared the way for someone to reteach the new generation.
I could see that too.
Wiped the slate. It took a long time, but he wiped the slate for Force users.
Or did he?
Well, he did until
new canon.
Exactly. Again, to bring balance, you kind of have to not continue the story.
You notice how they don't really talk about balance anymore?
No. They've changed the words around so much between the 3 trilogies, it's sad.
Balance has gone the way of midi-chlorians.
Exactly.
What are midi-chlorians? We're not talking
canon.
about that.
Don't talk about it.
Well, it was canon for a movie.
Yeah. Just I don't think they mentioned any of the others.
Just a bunch of little creepy things in your body, man.
We're just counting how many of the creepy things there are. They're
you
like little bugs.
Anakin's got a lot of them. I don't know what to do.
It's probably all the rage. Has to do with it. They're all in his brain, making him mad.
So anyway, back to the article. Okay, I think we all kind of had some sort of inkling that there probably was going to be some sort of Vader / Anakin Skywalker kind of Force ghost. I think that the consensus was probably Force Ghost, right?
Yeah.
Something
and they have been talking about Hayden a little bit in news lately.
Yeah.
Which they only had a reason to if he was going to be in one of the movies.
Yeah.
Honestly.
But I'll be honest, to me it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to have Anakin appear to Kylo. And the reason I say that is because Kylo's sort of strange devotion to a grandfather he never knew, like keep carrying his mask around. Anakin chose the light side in the end. Mm-hmm. So why would he then direct his grandson to do what his grandson has been doing?
I don't know. They paint the picture like it's a moment of conflict, so they show the good and the bad and his grandfather that he worships, and it's scenes of his past, and they
maybe,
mention the fall.
Maybe
so
like a force vision from episode 7. Like
yeah, but
when
they're not wording it that way. It's weird.
Hey.
It makes more sense if they word it as a force vision because
a
force ghost isn't going to be like, oh, I'm going to reenact my life to you. It's not how it works.
Anakin, Kylo, this is my life.
Anakin, this is my life. I'm Anakin. This is your life.
This could be your life. That's pretty sweet, Grandpa. No, it wasn't very sweet.
Young whippersnappers these days, they don't understand.
I'll be honest, though, I kind of did expect more Force Ghosts by now. We did get Yoda, Puppet Yoda.
That was
by the way,
cool.
I love Puppet Yoda. I don't want CGI Yoda. I want freaking, what was his name? Frank Oz, the puppeteer for Puppet Yoda. God, you're going to make me look it up. But I want to see Puppet Yoda, and I don't care. I don't care.
You know what the best part of Puppet Yoda was?
What?
It was Yoda's actual personality.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the original movies, not Revenge of the
Frank
Sith
Oz.
Yoda.
Wait.
Super serious Revenge of the Sith Yoda. And Abomination Phantom Menace Yoda, which was the ugliest thing ever. How did they make him look worse than the original? How?
Oh,
why
my
wouldn't
goodness.
they just use the old puppet if they're going to do that?
I don't know. I really don't know.
Personally, I didn't mind CGI Yoda. I mean, a little more serious than what I would have liked for Yoda, but Yoda's just not the most important thing to me when it comes to Star Wars.
We were talking about it earlier. Yep, and I'm sorry, guys. Yoda was not my favorite character. He wasn't like top 5 material for me. Excuse me, coughing.
He's a legend. That's what he is.
I just didn't really. I don't know. I just didn't really care. And I'm sorry. I know that a lot of people love Yoda, and Yoda's fine, but I was just never very interested in him. And it wasn't because he was goofy. Honestly,
I liked Goofy Yoda actually.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little bit of comedy, a little bit of levity. But I was just never very much into it. I was much more interested in many of the other Jedi that we didn't really get showcased as much in the movies. So anyway,
Mace, Qui-Gon,
Mace. Yeah, you and your
Kit
Mace.
Fisto.
Oh God. Well, there's a lot of Jedi, and the books are obviously where we get to explore those other Jedi, and the comics.
Yeah.
Although I'm not much of a comic reader. Although I will say I have some of them, but the newer Vader comics.
Yeah, you're showing me those. Mm-hmm.
Those are sweet, and that's like directly after episode 3 and on, how he makes his lightsaber, goes crazy.
Do they have that? I was watching a YouTube video about it. It was a clone who was like obsessed with Vader, and he started following him around trying to get his attention, and they actually, through him, showed a lot of the terrible things that Vader did. And throughout, he progressively starts to realize how much of a monster Vader is near the end. Was that part of the new canon? Because I really didn't see it in the video.
I don't know.
Mentioned it.
I'm not sure about that.
Okay, you would know what I'm talking about because it's some pretty messed up stuff that they see through the point of view of this clone. So.
Yeah. Huh. I'll have to look that up, maybe.
Yeah, I'll have to find the video and
find it. Let me know,
because that was pretty cool. Because
there's so much lore out there.
Oh yeah.
There's so much Star Wars lore, legends, and canon, and new and old, and there's just so much out there. But
I don't know. I'm just not so sure about how they're doing this because I'm all for more Force Ghosts. We need more Jedi in the next movie. It needs to be focused around the Jedi. We keep saying that over and over again, but
we just want more lightsabers.
Vader can't be a Force Ghost, and they can't reenact their lives as
Yes,
Force
he can.
Ghosts.
He can be a Force ghost.
Did he let go of everything? Was he completely at peace with who he was and let go near the end?
Okay.
He?
Listen to me
Yes,
very
he did,
carefully.
but still.
At the end of episode 6, who
He
appears?
did. He did.
Yes. It happened.
But they're the same person.
But how did he learn how to be a Force ghost? Who
Right.
cares?
Just because.
That wasn't the lore.
Yeah, because they always. Now people are like, oh, and Qui-Gon must have talked to him. Like, no, Qui-Gon wasn't talking to Darth Vader. He wasn't talking to Annie.
Qui-Gon taught Yoda.
Yoda taught.
Yoda taught Obi.
Well, he actually taught him how to commune with Qui-Gon, but still, same thing, basically. But
An old friend. Anyway, we should probably wrap this up and start talking about the chapter. We've yacked. I think we've yacked enough about our personal lives, and might as well just give them our social security numbers and everything, and then just end the podcast. What do you think?
what are we supposed to do in this podcast again?
Well, it's
Why
an all,
is there a
it's an
book
all
in front of me?
Stormtrooper. It's an all Stormtrooper podcast.
Oh, yeah, training.
So now we need to start going over troop maneuvers and blaster techniques.
I'll set up the practice dummies.
All right,
They're all going to
right.
be sand people.
All right, chapter 8, layers. Let's start walking through this.
It's another one-worder.
Layers, and honestly, it's actually a pretty appropriate title. It's just a table setting chapter. I'll be honest with you, just out front. You know, we just get more dressing of the story, which is fine, and it's not a terribly long chapter. What, 6 pages?
Was it that short, really?
Maybe a little bit more. 8 pages.
I thought it was
9
8
pages.
Actually, I thought it was 10.
100 pages. 50,000 pages.
3 books.
3 books worth.
Chapter 8, 3 books.
Layers and layers and layers and layers.
Did you fight with Anakin again? You fought with Anakin again.
Yeah, so this is basically like a 2-piece sort of deal here. So we start out, first line, like you just said, you fought with Anakin again. Luke is talking to Jason. Excuse me, more throat clearing. Hope that's not too loud on here. I'm not gonna edit it out. Anyway,
Who does that?
so basically, you know, Luke's going to Jason to talk about the whole little fight that him and Jason and Anakin had. You know, they've already made their plans to head to the Outer Rim, and now we're just doing table setting before that.
Pretty much. It's like, well, we got to wait. You know, it's a long drive, so
Exactly.
we got to talk about stuff.
Well, they haven't even started the drive yet. But, you know, they do mention here, you know, Leia had, well, actually, I think they jump from that line, and then they talk about Leia, and they jump back to the
It's
line.
weird.
It's a little weird. But anyway, so they did mention Leia here in the first paragraph. Managed to elude official pronunciation.
Balper.
There we go.
Balper.
Official pronunciation sponsor, Darth Austin. Which was her...
do it,
Which was her Nagiri bodyguard. We talked a little bit about them. You know, they have a slavish devotion to Leia, and she doesn't want him with them for this journey because sometimes his protection can be a bit of a hindrance. So she's proud of herself. It's like, I lost him. Yes.
I ditched my bodyguard, guys.
Yeah, so...
15, Leia.
Yeah, and then you know, we have a little scene here. So we've got the Millennium Falcon. In walks the Jade Saber, and then here comes Jaina. Woohoo!
In walks the Jade Saber.
No.
The Jade Saber is walking towards the Millennium Falcon.
So the Jade Saber walks into a bar, sees the Millennium Falcon and Luke's personal X-wing.
And guess who shoots first?
And guess who shoots first? And the Falcon
Spoilers,
said,
Millennium Falcon.
and the Falcon says to the Saber. But anyway,
I shot first.
Yeah. But let's see here. So they're awaiting the arrival of Jaina, who was out flying Luke's personal X-Wing along with R2-D2, so she's all happy. Uncle Luke loves me more than you guys. I get to fly a ship.
I don't have to train.
Oh, God. Does she ever train?
No, not so far.
All she does is fly.
She's communing with the Force through flying.
Yeah. So Mara's advanced techniques. Jaina, this is very important. I will train you in the ways of the Force. Now,
Slow down.
fly my ship. Now fly Luke's ship.
No. You're not an escort. No. You're not just a taxi. No. You're training.
So anyway, I've got a disease.
We're not going to take this chapter serious at all, guys.
Yeah, we're not in a serious mood tonight, I don't think.
I'm talking about the sword fight.
Yeah, so Luke knows about the sword fight.
The swords.
Not the lightsaber fight, but the sword fight.
The light sword.
Yeah. So it surprised Jason that his uncle knew about this. And it's a little line, but he couldn't read the man at all. So Jason can't read Luke when Luke doesn't want him to. So for all of Jason's like kind of bloistering, he's still a 16-year-old kid who he's just not there yet.
Yeah.
But anyway, but it wasn't really the sword fight that Luke was getting at. It was about basically the conversation that Jason had, the little fight he picked with Anakin regarding the sort of Jedi, what do you want to call it, the Jedi code or what it means to be a Jedi. Yeah, philosophy, there we go. So Jason trying to be a 16-year-old kid, an honest difference of opinion, that's all. And Luke says, concerning the role of Jedi.
Concerning the role of the Force.
Yeah. And then he turns his back. I don't know. He turned away from him, and now he's facing him again.
Face him.
And then he turned away, and then he faced him again. Do you think you could enlighten me? But the thing is, Luke's not being sarcastic. He's not being forceful. He's not trying to scold the boy. He's trying to get an honest opinion, and Jason can sense that, and he's actually it makes him feel good.
Yeah.
That his uncle actually wants to take
stroking the ego a bit, sure.
Well, in a way, but I think he's taking it, right now from what we know now, putting aside what we know will happen later, unfortunately. Right now it's just like, oh, yeah, my uncle's all powerful, man. Yeah, he's taking my opinion. This is great.
And so his response is to turn away again.
Yeah, he doesn't really want to talk about it. Luke says, the decision I face, obviously, with the, concerning the reformation of the Jedi Council and sort of the reining in of the, quote, rogue Jedi that are dispensing their own personal brand of justice. Jason says, I thought you already made up your mind. Luke conceded with a nod. Almost, he said. But if you're going to tell me some insight about why I shouldn't reconvene the Jedi Council, then now is the time to speak. So yeah, obviously Jason has a lot to say about this, but he's trying to pick his words. I think in both respects, not trying to play all of his cards, but also to kind of respect his uncle a little bit too. You wanna go through Jason's fascinating philosophy regarding the Jedi Council?
I don't know how to tell you.
Just listen to your heart.
It's just that.
Oh, God.
While staring at Luke intently, seeing the calm contentment on the man's boyish face. Luke does have a boyish face.
Yeah.
The wistful smile, above all else, Uncle Luke, with all of those harrowing experiences behind him. And despite the obvious trials ahead of him, seemed to Jason to be in a place of spiritual comfort, a place of harmony. All right, so, I don't know. putting a governing bureaucracy in place for the Jedi seems kind of like putting a blue-spotted preaky bird in a cage.
Peaky bird.
Or even like killing one and stuffing it to keep it safe so that you can continue to enjoy it.
There was also one more line before that. The Force seems so pure a thing to me, a clean truth of who I am and who we all are.
Which, hey,
A pure thing to me, a clean truth.
I like all that Jason's saying. He just doesn't know what he's saying.
Yes, then that's a problem. And
He's
unfortunately,
repeating what Luke's saying.
well, he's spouting out what he thinks that he understands about, and it's not that he's not smart. It's just the fact that there's a thing about belief, and then there's a thing about not just belief, but with every fiber of your being feeling it. Feeling that belief as well as just believing the belief. So right now he's just young and he doesn't understand all the sides, but he's got a good view on things. It's just the execution and the understanding and the foreknowledge that he still needs. So he just needs to learn more.
He's just young.
But yeah, I mean, it is understandable. Luke here says, those are the same fears I've had. I think we feel pretty much the same way about the Force, but the Jedi are possessed with powers beyond the understanding and control of those people around them, and with those powers comes responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility.
To people like Borsk Phalia, Jason said sarcastically.
Yeah, not deserving of your time. And then Luke says something that kind of surprised Jason a little bit. I'm afraid of your words and the way you speak them.
Well, he did literally spat that word.
Yeah, but see, here's where we find this it's pride. Mm-hmm. Basically, and it says here, by diminishing Borsk, he was in effect elevating himself above the Bothan. And that's actually a dangerous thing, a dangerous line that the Jedi have to toe, because they have this great power. They commune with this great power. But if they elevate themselves above others, then you get to the point where you think that you potentially can rule them or better than them. And then what do you become, Darth Austin?
My pupil.
Yeah, exactly. Fear is the path to the dark side. Pride is the path to the dark side. Donuts.
Missing your bus is a path to the dark side.
Donuts are a path to the dark side. Sorry, he was showing me a video that was a little chop, and Yoda was sitting there saying all these things. Sorry, it just popped in my mind.
Do it.
God. I think I skipped a little bit too here, but let's see here. Yeah, it's just let's see, a dangerous flaw. We've all got it, too much of it usually, and we've all got to work hard. We all have to work. Why does it say we've all?
We've all got to work hard to keep it from constantly holding us back.
Does that seem written right to you? And we have
all got to work.
And we've all it's. And
we have all.
No.
I'm ready. Yeah, I see that.
And we've all got to work hard. And we've all. Sorry,
it doesn't seem right. I think it is, but it's a weird phrasing.
I want to say, and we all have to work hard. I don't know. Sorry, I'm not an English major.
I just fear.
Control. Control.
And Luke said it just like that. Control.
You must learn control.
Control leads to fear.
Shut up. The spark leads to fire. Fire leads to hate. Hate leads to the dark side. So the spark is...
The dark side leads to donuts.
We're really not serious. Anyway.
You want to play some Streets of Rage?
Oh, get out of here. ADD over there. Right. But, so Luke also brings up, you don't like the Academy. And then Jason's like, yeah, I don't like the Academy. And this is actually important. So in the past, before the Jedi were wiped out, you had this ability to basically be one-on-one with your own Jedi Master. You went out with them, and you were a Padawan, and you kind of learned on the run, and you did little missions. And so, in your opinion, if you had the ability to do one-on-one, on-the-go training, or go to an academy to learn, which one would you choose? The academy, obviously, got it.
I mean, it's a pretty obvious choice. I think you need a little bit of both. You need some basic structure, but then one-on-one time is always more important because in an academy, it's just like school. If you get left behind, you're not going to stop everything just to focus on you and, explain why we do
it's
things
about
we
the
do.
Individualized sort of attention,
And seeing, the individuality of a specific master and how diverse the Jedi were back then because everyone had a different style of teaching. And, I think it was a benefit.
So Luke does say, it gave you much of what you have today. And then Jason says, did it? I was strong in the Force. It's in my blood. And how much purer, again, this idea of being pure. Anyway, might it run, and how much purer might it run if I had been trained, as you were trained, one-on-one with Yoda? Now, Luke doesn't argue this point. Obviously, his time one-on-one with Yoda, the backpack. God. What was that? What was that video? Was that the bad lip reading people who did that?
Mm-hmm.
Run, 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 jump. I can be your backpack. Why you run? Or something like that. That was the Seagulls, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, if you haven't watched that, that's amazing. That's really is an amazing video. So, so again, buckling back, do you think Luke benefited more from Yoda time, or would he have benefited more from what he's putting people in right now?
Yoda.
Okay. So let me then turn this back around. Who is basically... Okay, no. Let me rephrase this. How many Master Jedi are there in the universe right now at this point?
One and...
One?
Yeah.
Okay. So think about this logically. So you have basically one master of the Force. How many apprentices do you think he can go through? 1, 2, 15, 45?
100. There are 100 Jedi. He's trained 100 to some extent.
And see, this is the point, and I think this is Luke's greater point. He wants to create a council so that he can identify potential masters so that maybe they can get back to that eventually, but right now there aren't enough truly seasoned masters who, master being the proper title here. You have a lot of Jedi Knights, a lot of rogue Jedi Knights. They have an understanding of the Force in a way to use it, but they don't truly understand the Force in all of its entirety. They're not wise. And they haven't had the time to be wise. They know
enough to be dangerous, basically.
Yeah, very good point. But they're not wise enough to truly be a master. So by creating this council, he can rein in the rogue Jedi a bit, have them have some sort of, quote, government or overseeing body, and then you could potentially identify other masters and kind of go back to that one-on-one system. But right now, that's unrealistic. Now, we'll get into a couple of Luke's top students. I'm not going to talk about that a whole lot now because, honestly, I don't have a lot of them in mind. but anyway, there are a couple characters that come along that were very strong with Force that Luke taught that could potentially take on roles of masters. But the thing is you have to have some sort of structure. And what what Jason sort of fails to understand is that, yes, you want to have this pure connection with the Force, but at the same token, stop being selfish, boy.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Unfortunately, he's a little bit too prideful. Even reading this, I was strong in the Force. It's in my blood. Come on.
Would Luke have been able to do anything if he hadn't had formal training? Regardless of his bloodline, regardless of Annie's bloodline, what would he have done? Would he have done anything in?
Well, he did. He wasn't. He was just trying to, go to Tazi Station and get some power converters
Exactly.
and pilot.
He just wanted to be a pilot, just like Jaina.
I mean, Anakin wasn't moving around things. He was just flying, doing pod races.
Yeah, which you could argue maybe he used the Force a little bit.
Well, he was. He was, and even Luke probably was when he was bullseyeing Womp Rats. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, not truly using the Force, not truly being able to commune and be one with the Force. Yeah. So, if Jason were left alone, just because your bloodline, Leia, perfect example. Mm-hmm. Leia is strong in the Force because she is Luke's twin.
But she don't know how to use it.
No. And okay.
Except for when she flies around in space.
She does get training. Luke does show her things.
I know she becomes a Jedi Knight.
Well, her problem is that she's always been the politician, and those things have always took precedence over the Jedi way. But anyway, we'll explore that further. But yes, flying through space. So anyway, let's continue on a little bit here. Blah, blah, blah. Jason hates everything. I think Luke should have further explained this a bit, but it's possible it was just, sort of the writing and just maybe not fleshing it all out the way I flesh it out so perfectly. Should I have written these books? Yes. I mean,
would we still read them?
No. No, but seriously, I think that you could have gone a little bit further here, but at the same token, Luke just kind of tries and laughs it off. Do you think I like dealing with Boris? Gives him a little slap on the back, a little tee-hee-hee, and away they go. But the one final line, read it off.
Oh, God.
Read it off.
Uncle Luke. And when Luke turned to bow, Jason added, in all seriousness, choose right.
God. Is that his voice?
Choose right.
Choose right.
Uncle Luke, choose right.
God, had a hack attack there. I can't laugh like that, man. Okay, so then we change gears here a little bit.
Lady Vader.
Oh, do be careful, Lady Vader, C-3PO said. So Lady Vader is something that Aguri call Leia. She hates it. She hates C-3PO too. We all kind of do. He endures until we want to throttle him.
Do you think they'll kill C-3PO in the new movie?
No.
No.
Okay.
Just now.
Maybe it's all been C-3PO all along. He's been there all along. Heck, longer than Darth Jar Jar.
I think you're thinking of R2-D2.
No. Who made C-3PO? Little Annie. He's been there all along.
You know who's really been there all along? Before any of them?
All along.
The midichlorians.
God,
they have been there.
Since
the beginning.
So new theory. The midichlorians created C-3PO, and C-3PO has been pulling strings with his little midichlorian buddies all along.
Truthfully, Annie was only the chosen one because he built C-3PO.
C-3PO, man.
Who would be the god of the Ewoks.
Okay. Anyway, moving on.
We really need to get through this and just stop.
Yeah, we really do.
This is either going to be the worst view count or the best view count. What are you shooting for?
Or the both. It'll be both.
The both.
It'll
be the
both.
worst. And
yes. Okay, so let's see here. We're really not much of this is. I don't want to say it's not interesting, but Leia and Mara. Well, they're having their conversation again. They've already talked about this whole, child thing, and Leia's like, well, we're the same age. I couldn't possibly thinking of having another kid at this point. And then Mara's like, well,
you have three.
Well, herpaderp. That's because you already have three of them. I just want one. You B word. Anyway, so that's pretty much all to that. And then we flash. God, we're not giving enough props to the women. Sorry. But anyway, I mean, really, it's just them talking about kids, and that's about it. So we're gonna move on. So then we have Han and Chewie. Okay, I said 2-part. This is basically a 3-part chapter.
That was a very short part, though, luckily.
I did like the name of this bar. So it's Rye Bolts, Foam, and Sizzle. So,
that's just perfect.
So beers and steak. That's what I imagine. It's just like a space murder bar with beers and steak.
The sizzling could be from your back where the blaster bolt went through.
Dude, we just had steak, man. I want to live in a world where it just means beer and steak, not sizzling.
Does this seem like a beer and steak kind of place? It's a dive bar, man.
Yeah, they basically say it's what is it known for?
I'm trying to catch up with you because, again, we have two different sized books.
A notorious drinking hole known for murder, mischief, and mayhem. So not just mischief and mayhem, but murder. So the three M's.
If you killed a rival in the foam and sizzle bloodlessly and disposed of the body, nobody noticed or cared. If you made a mess, though, you had to flip over a few coins to cover the cost of cleaning.
Oh, you killed another one. Just give me a few... 100.
He didn't pay his tab, yeah.
1,000 credits. I gotta get the blood out of the upholstery.
And you gotta pay his tab.
Oh, why'd you do that? Why, Han? Why'd you shoot first? What did he ever do to you?
Why is the bartender a Jewish rabbi?
Why not?
I'm not saying why not. I'm just asking why.
I don't know. I just felt it. But anyway. So they are looking for, what would you call him? Maybe an old acquaintance?
They're looking for a drunken Gamorrean.
Okay, fine. Your descriptor is probably more accurate. Oh, let's see. What was his name? Baggy. Dugo Baggy. Sort of sounds like a hobbit. Dugo Baggy. The names. So old Baggy here wasn't enthusiastic to see Han, who is, I guess, aside from maybe Leia.
He is a Celestin, by the way. Just mentioning his species. I'm
calling him a hobbit because his name is Dugo Baggy, and it sounds like Bilbo Baggins to me. So we've crossed channels here, and we are now into the Lord of the Sith. Anyway.
An unexpected change. I mean, journey. I mean, podcast.
Unexpected Jedi. So they're basically interrogating old Baggy. They want to get some more information on Lando before they go and see him. Han has kind of a sneaking suspicion that Lando's up to a little bit more than just mining.
Not Lando. Come on.
I mean, Lando's
not
just a stand-up guy.
Londo.
Han? It's Han. All right, Lando.
All right, Hanny.
Lando. So, basically through the grilling here, we do get a little bit of insight into the fact that he actually is mining asteroids. However, he's attempting to basically, how do I want to say this, like refine techniques.
Yeah.
I think that they had mentioned, God, what was this thing that they had mentioned? It was like a specific like asteroid. Do you remember where that was? Or what it was called?
Charon's Folly.
There you go. And it was like pure platinum because apparently platinum's super cool in this universe, I guess.
Platinum pure.
But it was like impossible for people to get to.
Yeah, because there's a bunch of asteroids around it and you just die.
Right. So he's trying to improve mining techniques with the potential to maybe sell them, to others, mass market type of deal, make money like he's supposed to. However, also a neat little tidbit as well.
Oh, I'm sorry. Running the belt was also part of this training technique.
Now, well, see, that was what I was getting to. So running the belt, there was this whole game that Jaina and they were all talking about at one point, but apparently, it's more than a game. It's actually a training for smugglers. So he's actually kind of like trying to help the smugglers, train, get them a little bit more advanced strats, bro. So there's more than meets the eye Lando's operation here.
As always.
Yeah, and I mean, they just have to be a little leery about going out here and kind of poking their nose into it.
By the way, what else is this training for?
What's that?
What else is this training for?
Just say it. I'm not guessing.
Just to avoid hunters, trained by Luke.
Yeah, and we've talked about the Outer Rim Jedis and their dispensary of justice. They specifically single out Kip Duran. Is that how we want to say it? Kip Duran. Who's I think he said his
two Avengers.
Well, his parents were killed by smugglers in some form or fashion, and the 24 Avengers. So we don't want to say
12. I mean, that's just amazing.
Well, 24. No, sorry, it is the 12.
That's quicker than 14.
Whatever.
That's quicker.
The 14 Avengers. God. Dude, they're probably children. But anyway, so they're out there basically dispensing justice on smugglers, and Lando's kind of trying to help them avoid this. So, we're kind of gearing up potentially for a little bit of a confrontation, and I'm cool with that. Little smuggler and Jedi war.
By the way, there's a bit of an undertone to this we didn't really touch on. So Han isn't really well liked in his old smuggler ring.
Good point.
Simply because of his attachment to Luke.
Well, not just that. I mean, he's married to basically the former head of state, and he has Jedi children, and his brother-in-law is a super Jedi.
Is that the new rank above Grandmaster?
Yeah, I'm going to call Luke a super Jedi. Fabulous Jedi.
Super Luke.
Super Luke, make the right decision.
Get out of here. But anyway, so I mean, that's interesting. And I don't remember every part of these books anymore. It's been a long time, but hey, maybe we're going to have a little bit of a clash out in the Outer Rim. A little bit of confrontation. Maybe.
A little bit of a brawl.
Get out. Okay, we're not crossing that much here.
A little bit of a scuffle. A little bit of a confrontation.
Yeah, exactly.
A little bit of a sand.
I'm cutting you off after this. Anyway, that's pretty much brings us to the end of the chapter here. So kind of a little 3-parter, a couple different POVs.
Not my favorite chapter, but it wasn't terrible.
No, I mean it's okay. It's just table setting, guys. I mean it's table setting into the next. They're getting a little bit more information, fleshing out Jason's character a little bit further, which is fine. We kind of need that. You notice how little they're really talking about Jaina.
Yeah,
I mean
she's flying. That's
she's
about
fine.
it, guys. She's fly.
She's a fly girl.
Good Lord, the next chapter is going to be interesting.
Is it
It's
huge?
21 pages.
We're not doing that tonight.
And the title, The Honor of Dying.
There you go.
Well, I haven't even read this chapter yet, but yeah, this is going to be a good one. I'm excited for that.
So yeah, guys. I mean, I hope you're still enjoying the reread. We've been getting a couple of, I guess we'll call them followers, because I see new downloads every week and consistent downloads every week, which is cool.
I believe I got an extra like on Facebook. I'm not
yeah, like
Let me
it.
check while you're talking.
Well, that leads us into it. So all of you new listeners out there, if you want to chat with us, we're lonely. But no, if you'd like to send us some theories or talk about the chapter, or just get something out. We are on Facebook. You can find us, the Contingency Plan Podcast on Facebook. Darth Austin basically runs that because I'm no good at social media. I think we've well established that already.
He doesn't like talking to people, and yet, the Lord of the Sith is a socialite.
Apparently, yes. That's how you recruit.
One person.
There you go. But anyway, that's a good platform to reach us if you would like to just chat or get something out in the ether. We also have an email address. That's tcplanpodcast@gmail.com. And last little tidbit, we do have Patreon up and running. We've kind of been we've got a lot of ideas for Patreon. Currently, right now, we have our Dinner with the Patreon series, which basically we just sit down and have a little chat and eat some dinner, and kind of just talk out a few things, whatever that might be. We actually need to probably do one of those another time here pretty soon.
Yeah, we're a little behind on that.
Yeah,
we haven't ate in 3 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. But God, I should be a lot skinnier, man. But anyway, yeah, if you'd like to support the channel, Patreon's a great place to do that. So you can just patreon.com/the Contingency Plan Podcast.
That's right. And the next exclusive video on that is going to be our discussion of the epic battle between Machine Gun Kelly and Eminem.
It's not going to happen.
It's going to happen.
It's not going to happen because I
It's
don't
going to
care about
happen.
either one of them.
You gotta love Eminem, man.
I don't have to love anyone.
It's Eminem, man.
I don't have to love anyone.
Slim Shady.
Get out of here. We're not talking about pop culture. We're talking about Star Wars.
Eminem isn't
food.
pop culture. He's life.
Oh, God. I'm going to smother
He
him.
probably likes Star Wars. too.
Darth Austin will not be on this show after this week because
you hear
he's
that, everyone? Yeah, the Jedi Master is gonna choke me with the Force. That's
with your own pillow.
using the Force.
Using the Force.
And with that, his transformation will be complete.
I will be the grayest Jedi of them all.
Can you hear me?
You know, but to be honest with you, it's just kind of our job to destroy the Sith. So,
How you doing at that? You haven't yet.
You haven't destroyed us all
Keep
either.
coming back.
Anyway.
Just keep coming back.
So, yep, that's pretty much how you can reach out to us. But, yeah, I mean, I'm still having a lot of fun doing this little podcast here. This is, what is this, episode 9?
It will be the 8th chapter, 9th episode, including the intro, yes.
Dang, there you go. So we've been doing this darn near 2 months, haven't we? Wow.
I'm miserable. He keeps me in a cage and only lets me out to do the podcast once a week.
He makes me do this at 4 a.m. in the morning. It's
Man.
so late. I can never sleep.
No, he just woke me up.
Oh, God. So
No,
anyway,
if we did this at 4 in the morning, I would have said 3 words.
your narcolepsy would kick in.
Coffee.
Yeah, whatever.
That conversation about coffee would have been a lot longer.
That's true. All right, folks.
All right, we're going to pause this and go get some coffee,
There you go.
and then we'll be back for this podcast.
Yeah. So anyway, appreciate you guys stopping by. Stay tuned for more episodes and more stuff on YouTube and Patreon and all that good stuff. We appreciate you guys stopping by.
And as always, may the Force be with you.